So this module 2.2, which is a continuation of effective presentation techniques. In this section, we're going to talk about a wealth of things on how you go about actually preparing and doing a presentation. So the first one is characteristics of a good facilitator. And a facilitator is different than a presenter. A facilitator is an individual that is actually working to engage the group and get them to talk among themselves. There's a strong desire to have others learn, obviously. High awareness of what he or she's doing, then recognizes the importance of the process, because that's critical to be able to go through that and walk through what the facilitation techniques are and understand that. You need to be patient and tolerant. You're going to have, when you're trying to facilitate or move forward a conversation, and this is different than a training session, you're going to have individuals that are just going to get downright confused. And you need to have the patience to walk through that and have them understand that and be aware of that as you go through that. As you do your presentation now specifically, you need to be well rehearsed. There's no offset for being rehearsed. And within that, then you can reduce the ums and ers and those types of things. You need to be confident that you know the material, because you do. You've practiced it. You need to be creditable. One of the early things on when you do your presentation is you're highlighting what your credibility is. Why are you there? Why did someone ask you to conduct this training session? Okay, so don't apologize for why you're there. You've been asked to attend this and to present. I think that enthusiasm is critical in this regard. It's contagious. And the more enthusiasm you demonstrate to your trainees or your audience, the more they're going to buy into what you're doing and gaining a better understanding of that. Your voice and language. Speak up. Don't mumble and go talk like this real low or mumble, but speak up. Vary the pitch while you're talking. Okay. Avoid the tendency to speak too quickly. That's a critical piece of it. What you will find in many cases, the first PowerPoint presentation that you've ever done, you had it all timed out. It was all set to be 3 minutes. And lo and behold, you got done in 2 minutes. Well, natural tendency is you're going to talk much faster when you are nervous and walking through something. So you need to avoid that tendency and work to have the right pace. Okay. Be simple. Don't use terminology that you're not familiar with or you're uncomfortable with. Okay. Where you are using technology terms, technical terms, explain what they are so that everybody in the room will understand that and know what you're saying, or have an appreciation for what you're saying. Vary the pace. And I think that ties into your presentation or your voice style, but don't always talk real fast. Don't always talk slow. But varying that pace will help you, and it will help the learners be more understanding, and they'll remember and gain more from your presentation. There are situations where it's fine to pause. You can say something and then let it sink in for a minute to let the audience appreciate that. Always remember to speak for the appropriate length of time. Never run over. If you say that we're going to spend 30 minutes talking about this, then you need to be right at 30 minutes. You could be a little bit earlier, but you can't over extend that 30 minutes, because you're going to lose the audience's attention and you're going to lose their credibility or your credibility with them. Humor, as I said before, if you are an individual that can tell a joke, great, tell a joke. I'm not one that can do that easily, so I don't. because a poor joke is worse than not telling one at all. But if you can think of other types of humorous situations, then use those. But the key component is understanding, by mingling and coming in early, understanding where your audience or your attendees are coming from. So you know what kind of jokes or humor is appropriate for that group of individuals. So that will help you. Again, you're trying to build credibility. Nonverbal communications. Have a relaxed appearance. Smile at the audience. Make eye contact. Know that you're not, and don't pick on one individual. Make contact throughout the audience. Don't stare, that makes them uncomfortable, but make sure that they all understand that you're talking to all of them. Don't have your fists tightened up because you're nervous. Okay. Use your arms and hands to emphasize a point. And if you've seen any of the videos now, you will see me doing the same thing with my hands. You're trying to get, you're explaining myself and trying to get the audience to buy into that. When you're in a live situation, it's much easier to walk around the room and talk with them. There is some techniques where they say, well, you shouldn't walk around. I disagree. I think walking around the room and having eye contact with the audience or the trainee group is extremely important when you do that. Okay. If you're sitting, don't fold your arms or cross your legs, because that tends to indicate that you're uncomfortable with the situation. Don't stare or look away or stare at one person. Don't point your fingers. Don't be tense. Enjoy yourself. Don't chew on a pencil or chew on a gum when you're giving presentations. You need to relax and emphasize that you're happy to be there. You're enjoying the process of being there. I think that by itself will make the audience feel comfortable with you. As it relates to dress, be appropriate. If you're not sure what the appropriate style of dress is, contact the individual that invited you to give a presentation and ask them. You want to be dressed equal to the best dressed person, okay? Because that way, then you can always, if you're wearing a sport coat and a tie, you can always take your sport coat off. But if you come there without a sport coat, talking about for gentlemen, then you're automatically at a disadvantage. It gives you a level of professionalism, and it also dictates that your respect for the audience. So we've gone through a variety of things on how to talk and dress for the audience. We'll go through some more in the next section.